I know it looks like a cocktail, but I promise you it's kombucha. Kombucha. Kombucha? Hello, and welcome back to another video. My name is Heather, and as always, I'm reading with a vengeance, and as always, I hope you are as well. Today, I'm going to try to set a TBR for June. And then I'm going to do a little something fun at the end of the video. I'm probably going to put it in the title, but I'm going to do a little bit. I'm going to let a scavenger hunt pick one of my books that I read for June. We'll see how that goes, and I'm going to have you come along with me. So if you are new to my channel, welcome, welcome, very warm welcome. I'm glad to have you here. It's been so much fun, and I've seen a couple of new subscribers in the past couple of weeks, so that just makes my heart happy, and I hope you enjoy what you find. If you have been watching me already, welcome back. I really appreciate you being here, and specifically the folks who comment on my videos. I absolutely enjoy every single one of those comments, and some of them are very, very touching. I've had a few say, you know, I'm halfway through this book and I'm loving it, and I wouldn't have read it if it wasn't for your recommendation, and those types of comments just send me. They totally make my day. So yay. Thank you for coming back, and I am happy to give out book recommendations, of course. Let's see if there's any other admin. Oh, so it feels like forever since I have recorded. That's because it kind of has been. I'll let you in on a little secret. I pre-recorded probably the last 4 videos before I went on a trip. And I went and spent a week in Georgia. My husband's oldest son graduated high school, so we went down there and spent a week and watched his graduation and just had a vacation. My husband has 4 boys, so we spent some time with them. We don't get to see them as often as we like, and that's kind of the area we're possibly looking at when my husband retires next year. So Georgia, Florida, Carolinas, we haven't really pinned it down. I've told Shelly Swearingen that we might be neighbors someday. If you don't already know, Shelly Swearingen has a lovely Booktube channel. You should go check her out. I'll link her down below. So as I was saying, so I pre-recorded. So it's, for me, it's been a while since I've had a chat with you guys, so I'm glad to be back. So today I am going to be talking about the books that I plan on reading in June. If you've watched me before, you know that I don't do a really good job with TBRs, but this particular TBR, all of them are kind of must-reads for one reason or another, and I'll talk about those reasons. So I have a little bit more faith in this TBR than I've had in other TBRs. It's not just blind faith this time. So let's get started. The first book on my TBR is The Book of Form and Emptiness by Ruth Ozeki. I picked this lovely copy up when I went on the independent bookstore day with my husband. Did I vlog about that? I think I vlogged about it. And I don't normally buy hardcovers. I've talked about that before too. I'm not really a book collector. There's only one book that I collect, and that's my all-time favorite, To Kill a Mockingbird, and so I have different editions. I feel like hardcovers are collectibles. They're kind of unwieldy to bring with you, to read, to hold. The only reason I bought the hardcover is because it was the only thing available, and I am reading the shortlist for the Women's Prize for Fiction. This is the last one I have to read on the shortlist for the Women's Prize for Fiction. The reviews on this have been all over the place, so I'm really crossing my fingers that I love it. All I really know about it is about grief, and a boy, I think, is dealing with the death of his father, and then he starts to hear inanimate objects talking, so there's some magical realism. I think it might be helpful if I just read the inside cover really quickly. Oh, a bookmark. Oh yeah, it's an independent bookstore day. 1 year after the death of his beloved musician father, 13-year-old Benny begins to hear voices. The voices belong to things in the house: a sneaker, a broken Christmas ornament, a piece of wilted lettuce. Although Benny doesn't understand what these things are saying, he can sense their emotional tone. Some are pleasant, a gentle hum or coo, but others are snide, angry, and full of pain. When his mother, Annabelle, develops a hoarding problem, the voices grow more clamorous. There's a little bit more to it, but I won't bore you with that. I mean, I think that's enough to pique my interest. I'm really hoping that I enjoy this. It's a little bit of a chunker, and I want to finish it before the announcement for the winner comes on June 15th, because I want to do kind of a predictions video as well. But if nothing else, video notwithstanding, I definitely want to finish them all and make my own personal prediction. I already kind of have it, and if you've watched before, I really, really loved The Island of Missing Trees, which also has magical realism in it. So far, that's been my favorite. So out of the 5 I've read so far, Missing Trees is my favorite. This has big shoes to fill. That's first on the list. The next book on my list to read in June is Catherine of Aragon, The True Queen by Alison Weir. I picked this up because I am doing the readathon that is hosted by the lovely Gemma over at Gemma Books, Emily at Novelle Novels, and Danny over at Danny's Book World. Yeah, Danny's Book World. They're doing the 6 Tudor Queens readathon, and it's going to be, I believe, over the next year, because they're doing each of the 6 books every 2 months. So for May and June, we're doing the first book, which is this one, and I decided to save it till June because I know I'll be able to read it in 1 month. We'll see. This is exactly what it says. This is the first Tudor Queen. I don't really know anything about the Tudors other than what I learned from the Tudors miniseries, which I loved that show. It was great, but it's been years since I watched it. If it's on Netflix or it's available to you and you haven't watched it, it's fantastic. It's delicious. But a quick synopsis. A princess of Spain and the youngest daughter of the powerful monarchs, Ferdinand and Isabella, Catalina is a coveted prize for a royal marriage, and Arthur, Prince of Wales, heir to the English throne, has won her hand. But tragedy strikes, and Catalina, now Princess Catherine, is betrothed to the future Henry VIII. She must wait for his coming of age, an ordeal that tests her resolve, casts doubt on her trusted confidence, and turns her into a virtual prisoner. But Catherine's patience is rewarded when she becomes Queen of England. That's next on the list. I will link the 3 lovely ladies who are hosting this readathon down below, their channels. And if you want to join the readathon, yeah, feel free. I'm looking forward to this. I love historical fiction. I don't think I've read any historical fiction on this topic, so I'm super excited to get started. Yay. The next book I'm reading because I'm doing a reading challenge that is hosted by Chantel over at Chantel Reads All Day. I will link her channel down below. I've talked about this before. She's got a year-long kind of reading challenge going on. I'll link her channel down below and you can go check it out. But there's a prompt for every month of the year, and the prompt for June is to read a book with a book on the cover. I have 2. And since I'm mostly a mood reader, I'm going to let my mood select. But the 2 that I have with books on the cover, the first one I have, this one's been talked about a lot on YouTube, I believe, and that is The Plot by Jean Hanff Korelitz. And that has a pretty prominent book on the cover. I'll give you the quick synopsis on this. Jacob Finch Bonner was once a promising young novelist with a respectably published first book. Today, he's teaching in a third-rate MFA program and struggling to maintain what's left of his self-respect. He hasn't written, let alone published, anything decent in years. When Evan Parker, the most arrogant student, announces he doesn't need Jake's help because the plot of his book in progress is a sure thing, Jake is prepared to dismiss the boast as typical amateur narcissism, but then he hears the plot. Jake returns to the downward trajectory of his own career and braces himself for the supernova publication of Evan Parker's first novel, but it never comes. When he discovers that his former student has died, presumably without ever completing his book, Jake does what any self-respecting writer would do with a story like that, a story that absolutely needs to be told. Oh, there's more, but I'm going to leave that. If that piques your interest, definitely piques mine. Why haven't I read this before? Do you know what this reminds me? Do you remember that old Dennis Quaid, Meg Ryan movie, I want to say from the 80s, called DOA? It is so good. Now, I know the 80s has been a minute, but it is such a good movie, and this particular theme has something to do with it, if memory serves. So this one I'm going to choose from, or the other book that I have with a book on the title is this guy right here, The Unlikely Escape of Uriah Heep by H.G. Perry. I don't think this one has been talked a lot about on Booktube, but I've seen a lot of it on Bookstagram. Ultimate book lover's fantasy. For his entire life, Charlie Sutherland has concealed an unusual ability he can't quite control. He can bring characters from books into the real world. Hello. But when literary characters start causing trouble throughout the city and threatening to destroy the world, he learns he's not the only one with this ability. Now it's up to Charlie and his reluctant older brother Rob to stop them, hopefully before they reach the end. Oh, that sounds amazing. I got this book. I think I won a giveaway on Bookstagram, and this was sent to me. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll be able to read both. I don't know, but that sounds amazing, which is why it's on my TBR. But yeah. Finally, the for sure book that's on my TBR is the book that has been selected for my personal book club that I have with some friends online. I'm kind of the host of that book club, and they kind of leave it to me to pick books, which is sometimes stressful, but I usually pick one that's already on my shelf, so I get that advantage. If I'm going to be the decision maker, then I'm going to have some advantages, so I usually pick one that I already have. This one I've also bought at Independent Bookstore Day, and that is Deacon King Kong by James McBride. Got a couple of non-removable stickers on, and we all know how we feel about that. I have talked about this book before because I did vlog about the Independent Bookstore Day, so I have talked about this book before, but if you didn't watch that video, I'll give you the short synopsis. If I did 5-star prediction videos, this would probably be on it. In September 1969, an old church deacon known as Sportcoat shuffles into the courtyard of the Causeway housing projects in South Brooklyn, pulls a .38 from his pocket, and in front of everybody shoots the project's drug dealer at point-blank range. The reasons for this burst of violence and the consequences that spring from it are at the heart of Deacon King Kong. McBride brings to vivid life the people affected by the shooting, the victim, the African-American and Latin residents who witnessed it, the local cops assigned to investigate, the members of the church where Sportcoat was deacon, and the neighborhood's Italian mobsters and Sportcoat himself. I picked that for my book club, so I will definitely be reading that one this month. So now I'm going to do a little scavenger hunt to pick one more book for me to read in June. Now this might not seem a bunch because normally when I do my wrap-up videos, I'm usually talking about books in the teens, but that usually includes audiobooks, and I kind of let whatever is available on Libby to pick my audiobooks, so I never know what audiobooks I'm going to read for the month, so that's usually a surprise. They're usually on my TBR, but then whatever's next available. I have learned that lesson. I could only pick 5 or 6 physical books to read, and then I have to leave room for what audiobooks I'm going to read, and I can't really do a TBR for audiobooks. So back to the scavenger hunt. So the scavenger hunt, I saw Sarah over at Your True Shelf do this video. I will also link, I think the original, she got it from somebody else, and I'll try to link that original video down below as well as Sarah's channel down below. It's just that. It's a scavenger hunt to find books that are already on your shelves. So let's get started with that. I tried to make it brief. What Sarah did is she kind of took her recording device and kind of walked around her house with her looking for these books. I'm not going to do that because I use my phone to record, and it's kind of all set up just so I will do the actual physical search and bring the book back here for you. Okay, so there's only 9 prompts, so we'll make this brief. So the first prompt is grab your favorite book, go to the acknowledgements, and the first name you see, find a book by an author with the same name. So my favorite book is To Kill a Mockingbird. I have all the editions right up in my shelf up there. There's no acknowledgements. I wonder if the other editions have that. I have some editions. Okay, so none of the editions that I have, and I have 5 editions of To Kill a Mockingbird, none of them have acknowledgements. It's kind of weird. I also have a graphic novel, and there's no acknowledgements in any of them. So I will get the next favorite book that I have in my possession. The next favorite book I have in my library is All the Ugly and Wonderful Things by Bryn Greenwood. Love this book. What does it say? Go to the acknowledgements. Okay, so the first name I see is Anna. Anna. Oh, I know a book that I have. I have Black and Blue by Anna Quinlan. Do you guys want to know about these books? For 18 years, Fran Benedetto kept her secret and hid her bruises and stayed with Bobby because she wanted her son to have a father. And because, in spite of everything, she loved him. Then one night, when she saw the look on her 10-year-old son's face, Fran finally made a choice and ran for both their lives. to put together the pieces of her shattered life. And every day she waits for Bobby to catch up to her because Bobby always said he would never let her go. And despite the flawlessness of her escape, Fran Benedetto is certain of one thing: it is only a matter of time. Okay, so what's the next prompt? Pick something on that cover and find another book with the thing in the title. Okay, so that's easy. It has a tree, and I already know which one I'm gonna pick. Yes, I've already read this book, but it was an easy one. The Island of Missing Trees by Elif Shafak. I have talked about this. I talked about this in my wrap-up video for May. No, for April. Where are we? Okay, yeah. Absolutely love this book. It's a 5-star book. If you want to hear more of me blather on about this beautiful, beautiful book, yeah, you can check out my video for one of my wrap-ups. So what's the next prompt? Lovely cover too. Oh, gorgeous. Go to page 50, line 5. Pick a word from that line and find a title with that word. Page 50, line 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Out of bed, seized by an irrational fear that it might be the head. Fear. Got it. Fear. Be right back. A Faint, Cold Fear by Karen Slaughter. I've talked about Karen Slaughter before. She writes really, really good procedural crime thrillers. She is hard-hitting when it comes to describing violence and injuries, so beware of that. But she also writes a lot of books where sisters, the relationship between sisters are involved. She's one of my favorite authors. I really love her. This one, I believe, is one in a series. Yeah, this is number 3 in the Grant County series. So I think I've only read the first one in that. So I'm not going to read the synopsis on this one because I don't want to give any spoilers away. So yeah, Faint, Cold Fear by Karen Slaughter. What's the next prompt? Find a 5-star read with the same colors on the cover. So that's going to be kind of tricky for me because I don't hold on to every single book. I only hold on to favorites, and even those I either give away or put in a little free library. So I'm going to kind of cheat on this one and find a cover that that I hope to be a 5-star read. Okay, so the colors are kind of black and blue, and the one that I came across is Descent by Tim Johnston. I wouldn't go so far as to say it's a 5-star prediction, but I really hope it's a 5-star. My husband says it's really good as far as a thriller. I think I'm holding on to this one for the fall, for October, scary book months and stuff. This one says, the Rocky Mountains have cast their spell over the Cortlands, who are taking a family vacation before their daughter leaves for college. But when Caitlin and her younger brother Sean go out for an early morning run and only Sean returns, the mountains become as terrifying as they are majestic. So what's the next prompt? Find a book with the same number of pages. Hint, hint, Goodreads is your friend. This one has, if I don't count like the acknowledgements, 375 pages. So I'm gonna look on Goodreads. Closest that I have on my Goodreads is 376 pages, and that is Sharks in the Time of Saviors by Kawhi Strong Washburn. It has another one of those not removable stickers. I can't even tell you how much it irks me. I can't remember. I'm sure I saw this on Instagram, and it just sounds really interesting, and I love this cover so much. I don't know why, but I absolutely love it. In 1995, off the coast of Kailua Kona, Hawaii, 7-year-old Nainoa Flores falls overboard into the Pacific Ocean. When a shiver of sharks appears in the water, everyone fears the worst, but Noah is gingerly delivered to his mother in the jaws of a shark, making his story the stuff of legend. Nainoa's family, struggling amid the collapse of the sugarcane industry, hails his rescue as a sign of favor from ancient Hawaiian gods, a belief that appears validated after Noah exhibits puzzling new abilities. But as time passes, this supposed divine favor drives the family apart, and the Flores siblings end up scattered across the mainland. So, that's that one. What's the next prompt? The next prompt is, why did I take my glasses off? That's the next prompt. Flip open to any page, the first name you see, find a book by an author who shares that name. Okay. Oh, Dean. That's easy. Deeply Odd by Dean Koontz. I'm a Dean Koontz fan, and this is a really fun series. I don't know if you have read the Odd series. I think I read the first 3 or 4, and I can't remember where this one falls in the series, but I picked it up, obviously. at a secondhand store, and so when I get to this one, I will get to it, obviously. Odd has the ability to see and talk to dead people, and with that skill, he helps other people solve mysteries in their own lives. It's a fun series. I've been really enjoying it. I just haven't been able to get back to it for a while. The next prompt is find another title with the same number of letters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 letters. Okay, so a majority of the books I have in my personal library have either 8 letters or 10 letters. So that was a little bit of a chore, but I did find one. Have The Switch by Beth O'Leary. Beth O'Leary is a Booktube darling. Booktube, I think, was responsible for me reading The Flat Share, which I really enjoyed. And I'm not really much into contemporary romance, but The Flat Share was super cute, and I would recommend that one. But I picked this one up as well because once you find an author that you enjoy, I like to pick up others by them. Eileen, newly single and about to turn 80, would like a second chance at love, but her tiny Yorkshire village doesn't offer many eligible gentlemen. Then, in bustling London, Eileen's 20-something overachieving granddaughter, Lena, is ordered to take a 2-month sabbatical after blowing a big presentation at work. Once Lena learns of Eileen's romantic predicament, she proposes a solution. A 2-month swap. Eileen will live in London and look for love. Meanwhile, Lena will rest and take care of things in rural Yorkshire. That sounds cute. So what's the next prompt? Find a book with a similar cover. So I look at this cover and I see pastel colors and 2 people on it. I already have one in mind. Pastel cover and 2 people on it. Fiona and Jane. I picked this one up. I did a vlog when I went to a place. The Groton Library had an event at a local brewery, and it was called Books and Brews. And I did a vlog on that, and they were giving out free books to people, and they are advanced proofs, but still free books. And this is one of the ones that I picked up. So I'm looking forward to this one. I want to say, I didn't know at the time, I thought it was a novel, but I think it's a collection of short stories. I have my fingers crossed on this one because I haven't had a whole lot of luck with short story collections in the past. But there you go. Fiona and Jane. What's the next prompt? Flip to a random page, point at a word, and find that word in a book title on your TBR shelf. Okay. Oh, it's supposed to be random, huh? Here. Oh, that's easy. Yes. Britt Marie Was Here by Frederick Bachman. I love Frederick Bachman. I've read Ove and I've read Anxious People. I loved them both, and I plan on reading everything in his backlist. So I really wanted to get to Beartown first, but since the universe is picking this one for me, this one's next. It's another hardcover. I'm pretty sure I found at a little free library. So the 10th prompt is read. So this is my last book that I have on my TBR for June. Everybody, let's do a collective finger cross that I get to it. So that's it. Those are my plans for June. There was my scavenger hunt. I'm not going to tag anybody specifically for this because I didn't really put it out there as a tag. But if this looks like something fun for you to do, I highly recommend it. It was super fun for me to go around and pick books off my shelves for no reason other than this list was telling me to do so. Go for it and let me know if you do it. I would love to watch your answers and see what you come up with. Have you read any of these books that I plan on reading in June? I would love to hear your thoughts. I love engaging with all of you. Please put your comments down below and let me know. If you're still watching at this point, I'd really appreciate it if you gave that like button a boop, and a subscribe would be really helpful as well. I hope you're enjoying the content. I'm really enjoying putting these videos out, and I will see you next video. Bye-bye.